You too. What's good, your boy? Everything water and water is everything, my familia. I got for you guys a crazy fun solar hunter build. We're gonna be taking the speed loader slacks, combine that with the Prometheus lens, and we're gonna be getting a shredded solar trace rifle. That's exotic. That does crazy damage. If I like this video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. Let's get straight into this video. Starting off with this video, we're going to be talking about the speed loader slacks. Now, the speed loader slacks perk is dodging boosts reload speed, handling, and airborne efficiency for you and nearby allies. While this buff is active, final blows and additional dodges increases the buff, strength, and refresher. The time maxes out at 5 stacks. So basically what this means is it's going to take your gun and it's going to multiply your handling times 5. And with solar, you also have on your mark. That's what we're gonna be using for one of our aspects. It's gonna give you that times 3. So basically, you got times 8 handling. That's gonna help you shred enemies to the core. And on top of that, it gives you a buff to your fire team. Like, you're gonna be shredding things, and it's gonna be insane. If you're reading this, you're probably thinking like, "Oh, it doesn't does anything to your damage," but in reality, it does. Basically, it just makes you do more damage faster than usual. So your damage is not buffed, but you're gonna be doing more damage faster. Because you're doing it faster. You know what I'm saying? I know I said it twice, but that's really what it is. And it just takes your whole fire team to a whole nother level. When I mean you're going to be shredding boss, you're going to be shredding boss. Like, nobody's safe with this exotic. Literally, man. Your whole team is going to be destroying everything. Pair this up with the solar subclass, and you're going to be unstoppable with your team shredding everything. Combine that with the exotic weapon we're going to get into right now. Now for an exotic weapon, we're going to be using the Prometheus lens. Now, a lot of people don't really use this exotic because I say before this season it was probably like a B tier exotic. There was a lot of exotic that just does better, but now with this season and with all the season, with the season of the wish and all these solar artifacts combined with the speed load and slacks, you really get a Tommy MacBook weapon without the self damage. And I feel like that's insane because you're going to be scorching everything that you set your beam at, and on top of that, every final blow resets your ammo from reserves. So basically, you never have to reload. The more ammo you're shooting out, the more beams, the longer you shoot, the more damage you're gonna be doing to the whole area. And with the speed load and slacks and on your mark aspect, you're gonna be doing so much damage. It's gonna be insane. Everything's gonna get shredded. Doesn't matter what Lightfall it is. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're gonna be shredding enemies. You know. So I really they use this with this exact combo, this exotic combo with the speed load and slacks, and you're gonna be doing a lot more damage than you thought you couldn't do. You know, so this exotic with the speed loader slacks just makes this what it should have been. You know, because without it, it's okay, but with it, it's A plus. You know, so yeah, now we're gonna get into the build, the aspect, and the abilities. Let's get it. Now, going into our build, we're gonna start off with our Blade Barrage for our super. I prefer Blade Barrage because 1, the cooldown is shorter, and 2, I just feel like it does more damage, especially when you're gonna be using speed load slacks. It also affects your super too, which is pretty cool. We're also going to be using Gambler's Dodge. Dodge should perform a dealt tremble, avoiding enemies' attacks, dodging their enemies, fully recharge your melee. I prefer for your melee, we're going to be using the weighted throwing knife. I prefer that out of any other throwing knife because with enough stacks, once you have radiant and you scorch an enemy, you throw this, they immediate ignite. Any enemies around will also ignite too, even if you kill them or not. Like, they're gonna ignite regardless. So I prefer that, and I feel like sometimes the knife trick doesn't do it because you might hit 3 enemies at once because it does have 3 knives. But yeah, right now this season, weight throwing knife is the best. For our aspects, we're going to be using knock him down, and then we're going to be using on your mark. Now, on your mark just gives you that stack 3 times for handling and reload speed for your whole fire team, and combine it with the speed load and slack. So basically, you got 8 times the handling for your team. You're going to be shredding everything that walks, literally. Get into our fragments. We're going to be using Ember of Torches. Power melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Now, without the acrobatic dodge, there's no other way you can get radiant, so you need this fragment to get throw your melee to get radiant. You don't have to have a final blow. Once you hit them, you automatically get radiant for 5 seconds. We're also going to be using Amber of Ashes. You apply more Scorch stacks to targets. Again, right now, this whole season is about scorching enemies, and just so if you can stack that Scorch as much as possible to get more ignitions, that would be wonderful. We're also going to be using Ember of Searing. Defeating Scorch targets grants melee energy and creates Fire Spark. Now this fragment goes in with another fragment, when the last fragment we're going to get into a little bit later, or in a couple seconds. But yeah, so this just gives you that Fire Spark, and the Fire Spark gives you grants grenade energy, and now it also gives you, you know, defeating Scorch energy. With this fragment you also get melee energy too, which is pretty cool. Now another important solar fragment, we're going to be using the Ember of Emperon. Solar weapon or ability final blows, extended duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. This is really important because we want to be able to extend that radiant we're going to be getting from our Ember of Torches, and our restoration we're going to be getting for our grenade, our healing grenade. So that's really important. I didn't really talk about my healing grenade, I skipped over this. But yeah, the healing, you're going to be using the healing grenade, especially depending on the content you're doing. Healing grenade is just the best in my opinion. And last but not least, we're going to be using Ember of Mercy. Now, Ember of Searing and Mercy goes together because picking up a Fire Sprite grants restoration, and you're going to be creating Fire Sprites with this fragment. So you need these two to really go entwine, unless you have the Dragon Breath, but which we're not going to be using. Without that, I prefer you need Ember of Searing to combine with Ember of Mercy to really get that full potential of that Fire Sprites with restoration. Now that's it for our abilities and aspects and fragments. Now we're going to get into our artifacts, stats, and mods. Okay, for your artifacts, we're going to get anything that has to do with solar. This season is solar everything. So you want to get Kindling Trigger, you want to get Flame, Fiber, and Freeze, you want to get Flint Striker, you want to get Torch, you want to get Heart of Flame, you want to get Revisited and Blast, and you want to get Razor Precision. These are a must to do to put out the max amount of damage and potential of this build. You need these artifacts to really fulfill what this build can do. Now going to our stats. My stats are a little wonky, I know, hear me out. I'm going for max resilience. You always want to go max resilience no matter what the content. You want to be tanky as possible. You don't want to be squishy. Now next I got mobility. Honest truth, I can get the mobility to tier 7, so I would recommend to get this to tier 7. Because I just love intellect. I love getting my super does so much damage. I love the Blade Barrage. But if I'm honestly telling you, you want to get max out mobility, you want to be able to always have Radiant, get you, and always like have Reaper, one of your armor mods that's going to be able to dodge, and have it, and with creating a lot of Scorches, you're going to get your mobility pretty quick. I mean your dodge pretty quick too. So honestly, I say anything higher than tier 7. And then you want to go into discipline. We do got the healing grenade, so it's more of like a last resort, because for whenever Ember of Mercy, Fire Sprites are going to be creating like restoration, so we don't really have to use our healing grenade all the time, but only when you need to, that's when you have. So anything higher than tier 5, and then intellect is next. Me, I had it at tier 6. Anything higher than, honestly, anything higher than tier 4 can be good too, and everything else fall apart after that, fall in after that. Now going into our mods, these are important. Everything else you can screenshot this, get it exactly how I have it, right? Because one thing about the Prometheus lens is it's very ammo heavy, because you don't reload, and it's a beam, you know, it's a trace rifle, so it consumes a lot of ammo faster than you think, so you need stacks on stacks. Picking up overpower grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge. I feel like this is important because it's just going to give you armor charge every final blow, and you're going to create a lot of final blows with your solar siphons. These are important too, because your solar weapons will create final blow, and you're going to be using both the Apex Predator and the Prometheus lens that does solar damage. That's important. And then the second most important thing you need is special finisher. Now this is a finisher, generates special ammo for a whole fire team, consumes 3 stacks of armor charge. This is important because you want to be able to, once you see those 3 stacks, you need a finisher. Get that ammo as much as possible. Don't wait for it. If you see the 3 stacks and you just not doing the finisher, no, get that finisher, because it's for your whole fire team, not just you. But even though it's going to be for you like 100% of the time you do it, it's also going to be for your fire team, so that's also cool. So you always going to have special ammo as long as you have 3 stacks of armor charge and you do a finisher. Keep that in mind. But yeah, that's it for this build in this video. If I like this type of video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. It's your boy Everything Water, and that water is everything, my familia. I'm out.